in good shape. All right, welcome to another edition of the Journey to Freedom podcast. I am Dr. B, you are in for a treat today. So if you think that you're going to, if you're one of those folks that tends to be on slow motion and you kind of just catch things as they go, and you're going to struggle today because this is going to be high intensity, fast talk, add a lot of stuff. But here's the deal. So you're not going to need to put this, sometimes I listen, Herb, I don't know if you know this, but sometimes I'll listen to a podcast at 1.5 speed so I can get done with it quicker. You and I are going to talk at 1.5 speed. So if they do that, they're going to be like on double time. So you're going to have to put this on like half speed and then you're going to tell you now, before I get going, I need you to get a piece of paper out. So if you just started this recording, push pause, go get you some paper, and then get ready to be in a place where you can push pause, write stuff down. So if you're driving, just know you're going to watch this 2 times. If you walking, you out on your exercise, you jogging. We're recording this at the beginning of 2025, so I know there's a whole bunch of you who are at the gym, getting on the treadmill, trying to listen to podcasts, and then you're not going to go to the gym back next week. I want you to go to the gym back next week because you still need to get in shape. So whatever that New Year's resolution, whatever that was, keep it up. Consistency is your key to success. So now, the other part of this is why I'm so excited, because my guests keep getting exponentially more information to the folks that are there. And so the caliber of the guests that I have, the folks that have been successful, I'm not going to say that the caliber went up because there were some good men at the beginning, but I probably didn't ask all the right questions because I wasn't good at, incredibly good at doing this. So last year at Urban 2024, I interviewed 100 successful Black men that were doing stuff in our country. Because we hear all these things that, hey, we are all in the jails, we're all doing this stuff. I mean, no, there are some successful Black men who are making a difference in their community. And success doesn't mean how much money you have, although it helps. If you have a lot of money, it helps. But when you go to the barbershop, and I know in your time you've been to at least one barbershop because you live in Detroit, and you can't tell me in however old you are, in the 29 years that you've been alive, that you have not been to a barbershop. And so, but typically, especially in the Black barbershop, we talk about everything except for money. We don't talk about relationships. We don't talk about how to be a good dad and our parents. We talk about like sports. What's Detroit Lions doing right now, right? We know more stats about golf than we know about our own kids sometimes. So we want to kind of change that around a little bit. So today, Herb's going to talk about the money stuff. Right now, I know that's not that conversation is, well, I don't know, I don't understand. But that's a contributing factor. That's because you weren't in the right rooms. We want to make sure this is a room that you are in so that you start understanding some of these concepts. Herb works in the real estate industry. I work in the mortgage industry. I used to be a financial advisor. Herb knows more about just the aspects about some of the things he does than I've ever known in my whole lifetime. And so we're going to talk about that today. But before we do that, we got to find out who this guy is, right? You want to know exactly who Herb Strather is because you say, well, I can't, your mom was going to say, well, you can't trust him. But I'm telling you, you need to trust him because he's going to be telling you some amazing stuff. So, Herb, thank you for being on today. Thank you for being willing to spend the next hour of your life with me. And so go ahead and tell us a little bit about your story. I tell everybody you can start from your mama's womb to now. And you can take 5 minutes or you can take 40 minutes. It's as interesting your story. Now, if your story is boring, then don't take 3 minutes. But I know it's not. I'm just teasing you. So go ahead. Tell our audience exactly about your life.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. And thank you so much for inviting me on your show. Dr. B, I hope I don't let anybody down. I want to reach out to all the little kids like me. When I was growing up little, I was very, very poor. I stuttered. I had bumps all over my face. Brian, I got set outdoors. My family got set outdoors. Man, that's something embarrassing when you get set outdoors because everybody be looking and watching. But hard times difficult, challenging times make you better. Because at that point, I made a commitment to myself, and I stuttered so bad it was like, if I ever get out of here, I'm gonna come back and help little kids like me escape. As a matter of fact, I told myself, Brian, that I did not want to grow up. Because when the adults grow up, they forget about little kids like me. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm going to represent little kids like me until I die. Wow. And so there's a part of me that's a little kid in me. And I want to let you know that there's a little kid in me. And listen, and I've tried to keep my commitment. I've just to tell you a little bit about what happened, what saved my life. And this is an important lesson to everybody. You have to have challenges to overcome. And God gives us these challenges. And don't make no excuses. Go right into it to take on your challenges. Now, me, I couldn't be in regular school because I stuttered so bad, the kids would laugh. They would grab their stomach and laugh like that. You know how they bend over and the teacher said, now stop it. And I was, and then she says, come here, Herb, you can't be in the class. It's too disruptive. They couldn't ask me one question, so they sent me to speech therapy. And in speech therapy, I had to go to all of the oratorical contests, Toastmaster, American Legions, oratorical, Optimist. Mm-hmm. I entered Optimist oratorical contest because it had a positive message, and I liked that one the best. And guess what, Brian? After 3 terms, I won. Can you believe I won the oratorical contest? Now, I beat out 2,000 people. Now, so I didn't win first place. I won second place, but it was on the district level, beating out everybody. And I didn't win the scholarship, not the cash, but I won a scholarship. I won a scholarship to the good life.
I love it.
Because at that point, I ran for class president. Now, and I won. But there was one problem. You had to have 2.5, Brian.
Now what's happening?
I had a 2.0. So that's like a D. So I had a D on a good day. So the principal said, I want you to resign. You can't represent Western High School as our president with a 2.0. But Martin Luther King had gotten killed. Now you know how old I am. and it was in April. And my mother said, no, you're not taking this from my boy. So I had to resign. Anyway, but he gave me a semester to get my marks back. And I was motivated. The only problem there, I was so poor that I was working at Chevrolet Gear and Axle. I was working full time, going to school as class president, and I had to get my grades up. And I didn't have a car. It was all on the buses. But as God did it, the bus that I caught from Western High School all the way to Chevrolet Gear and Axle was the same bus. And it was the exact time to get there. Now, so God is good. Because no matter how smart you are, you can't do that. You can't put the right person in the elevator with you. You can't do it how God's going to do it. So thank God I went there, and I was able to buy my mother my first house at 17 years old. She had to sign as my legal guardian now, because you can't own property at 17. She signed as my legal guardian. And then when I was 18 years old, a guy wanted to sell a house. He wanted $1,000 on an assumption. I went to the bank and I borrowed $2,500. I borrowed $2,500, gave him $1,000, put $1,500 in my pocket. Now I need to back a minute because I had no money, no credit, no nothing. So how did I get $2,500? So I went to the bank, and the bank, I said, I saved up $440 each week because, we make $3 or $4 an hour. It took me about a month.
Before you finish that, what year did you be able to do this at? Because you're talking about buying a house in 1968.
1968. I bought the house in 69. 69.
And so Black folks weren't supposed to be buying a house in Detroit in 1969, right?
We're just broken in.
They just broke it in. And so you had to buy. Did you have to buy in a neighborhood that wasn't Like a red line neighborhood, a non-red line neighborhood? Okay.
Well, there's an interesting story on that. I got sued. I want to show you what happened.
Okay.
So anyway,
go ahead and tell your story. I just want to clarify.
Anyway, I saved up my money in Michigan National Bank, is Bank of America now, and they loaned me my money back. I remember they loaned me. I've saved up $440. They loaned me $400. So I had $28 in something payment. So I paid. Got credit. Can you believe that's how I created my credit? And that's a message for everybody. You could be your own bank. And that's what I do now. I loan students up to $100,000 for a day to put in the bank, borrow the money out and give me my money back. You know, we get students psychologically ready. You got to get rich before you get rich or you'll never get rich. So I had a burning desire. So at 19 years old, I joined Bowers Real Estate Company. I'll do this a little quickly for you because I want to get into the nuts and the bolts that I want your listeners to have, the tools I want to give them. So I just going to give me another 4 or 5 minutes and I'll bring you right up to date. So at 19, I became the #1 salesman. I sold everything. And I got sued. They said I was blockbusting, but not really. I just go down the street and have for sale by owner sign. The first month, I listed 19 houses. I was the #1 lister in the city of Detroit. Nobody ever heard of nobody doing 19. The next month, I only listed. I didn't sell.
Okay.
I only listed because if I showed you a house one time and you didn't buy it, I would get mad. So I didn't sell. I did try to sell though, but I didn't have the temperament to sell.
Gotcha. Okay.
But what happened, it was just a great life. But I wanted to do my own thing. So at 24 years old, 23, I decided to open up my own company. And I said, well, I want to do income property brokerage now. I went out and bought me a book, Peckham's book. It was $9, and I read it. And before I even finished it, I made my first deal, 16155 Hubble, 8-unit. And then I went out and I opened up Strather Associates myself, Strather and Associates in 1975. And I started in Detroit and said, let's make it happen. So I wanted to buy income property. One problem, I had no real money. I had no great credit. It was okay, but no money, no credit. But I bought my first deal. It was a 20-unit on Sussex and Finkel. I put $2,500 down. I had 5 land contracts. I owed them $140. I borrowed $140,000 from the bank, and I discounted $40,000 out and paid them $100,000. And I made $40,000 tax-free on my first commercial transaction. Man, that was something. Now, Brian, I want to tell you.
What year was that?
That was May of 1977. So
that was a lot of money in 1977. That wasn't a little bit of money.
That was big money then.
Yeah.
Now I want to tell you the most fascinating thing that happened is that from December 77 to December 78 was 13 months, and I bought 13 properties. And when it all ended up, I bought $25 million worth of property without putting up a penny. Because I had someone with the money, they'll just put a CD in the bank take the CD, and they'll take assignment of the land contract or a second mortgage, and that's the equity. So the person putting the money up, I split it 50-50 with them. I gave them the depreciation, but I owned half of the asset. Now, speed forward, it was a very good life. And this is a little kid that with bumps from the hood and all of this kind of stuff, but something was.
It was stuttering.
Couldn't talk, but I had buildings everywhere. Mm-hmm. Now, so I'm going to accelerate to 1994. Canada was establishing a casino. I'm looking out at my window at the top floor of the Riverfront, which is our finest apartment building. I was the third person to move in. As a matter of fact, when I moved in from the outside. I took the elevator up from the outside. It scared the shit out of me. But anyway, can you imagine going up to 29 floors on the outside of an elevator? But But I was looking over in Canada because we're in the water. Mm-hmm. And you can look over in Windsor. And they're building this casino. I said, well, what? So they said they was not going to hire Americans. And the Indians were going to do a deal. And they were going to hire Indians. I said, well, what is our role? Just to bring the money. Better yet, I put it on the ballot. I had 14 days. It was March the 28th Oh, no. It was February the 28th. I'm sorry. And I had to have everything in by March the 15th. Can you imagine? I had to get 7,500 signatures. I can tell you, I slept 2 or 3 hours a day. And you know who I got to help? Because nobody would get signatures. They just wouldn't do it. They turned the casinos down 6 times. And they said, man, just get that out of my face. They knocked it out of my hands. But I went out and I got the homeless, Mark.
Really?
The homeless. The homeless got going. And man, every day I was paying them $1. Do you know I turned in 17,000 signatures rather than 7,500? If it wasn't for
no question.
they made it. Now, I mean, so now look, I have been rich and poor at least 4 or 5 times. In 1980, when I had $25 million, interest rate went to 20%. I sold off my portfolio to stay alive. And then I jumped in and I did a lot of big deals like with Stephen Ross, who owned the Miami Dolphins and the related companies. I sold $265 million with him. I did the biggest deal in Detroit, Hunter's Ridge, for $43 million. I did the Republic Development. That was $63 million. So I became a broker, just selling the biggest deals. And then, of course, I did the casino. But, you know, I could have 30 million one day and $500,000 because I'm a developer, you know, and so I build optimist clubs in the world because it's a debt that I can never repay. So as far as I was concerned, I was working to do my philanthropic effort. And that's another message to you. Don't go after money. Don't do it. Go after something that you believe in and you will die for. That money comes with the territory, but don't go after the money. Because if you go after the money, you're going to make the wrong move. You'll make the wrong decision. If you're genuine, people will know it. Yeah. If you really love everybody, they'll know it. What really got me to do the casino was when I went to Martin Luther King as a high school and I saw the little kids dancing and I started crying. I said, if I don't do this, their life is going to be different. That motivated me.
Yes, I love it.
And so I mean, I've been up and down, you know. In 2008, there was a tremendous depression. And, you know, I was $20 million under. I accumulated 70 million and dropped 90 million. But I went on the radio and told everybody I'm 20 million under. But I've been to the movie before and watched this. A year later, I was 20 million under. I was not under. You understand? So I created Strather Academy, and here's the deal. I said to everybody, I'm creating the Strather Academy to show you how to do it. Now, if you got money and you want to go buy real estate and you want to put your money down, you don't need me. Because you have to fully leverage your deal to deal with me. If you want to join my academy, you have to buy a deal without putting up money, just like I did. Now, I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you 18 tools you could use and not put up any cash. And I don't have to practice. Okay. I wish one of you had a deal for me right now. I'll take your deal right now and run it in front of everybody. There's 18 to 20 different ways to do it. And once you make these combinations, or it could be 100 different ways to do it. But you can take and do deals without putting up cash. Like, what are some of the ways, for an example, and before I get into teaching, dropping you examples, I want to just stay with the mindset a bit.
Okay, please do.
I mentioned to you that you got to get rich before you get rich, or you'll never get rich. Mm-hmm. Now, most of you, that means that you have a mindset. You understand? That you are rich. You tell yourself you're rich. And while we help students get to that mindset, if you join Strather Academy, we'll loan you up to 100 grand. That's 1%, whatever we loan you, 25, 100, whatever. You'll put the money in your name. You buy a CD, for example, in your name. Let's take the last transaction I did. I did it with a black bank, First Independence National Bank.
Okay.
My client put 100 grand in, my student. I loaned him 100 grand. He put the 100 grand in and bought a CD. And he pledged the certificate of deposit as collateral for his LLC to borrow the money out. You got that?
Yep, I'm with you.
He borrowed the money out, and he gave me my 100 grand back. And I told him he owed me $1,000 too. So, but he didn't have the 1,000 at the time. But he gave me my money back. So now he's got 100 grand in his personal name, and his LLC got the debt, which it needs the debt anyway. You understand? So now that's a perfect scenario. Now he believes he's rich.
Of course, he got $100,000.
You got $100,000. He can't spend it though because it's collateralized. But psychologically, he's rich.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you something. If you make 10 grand a month, there's 120 grand a year. If you take 40,000 at a salary of 50, and you take the rest of that money, and you make it as earnings for your company. Now you got to convert from an LLC to a subchapter S corporation so you can get a salary. You become an employee. You cannot have an employee. You cannot take a salary under an LLC if you're the member. You cannot do that. You have to convert it to a subchapter S, and then you take your salary and let your company make the 40, have $80,000 in earnings. Now, what is $80,000 in earnings at a 10% return? Is worth $800,000. Mm-hmm. Now you say, okay, if it's a 20% return, this is worth $400,000. But guess what? If you take your 1099 yourself for driving a truck or whatever the hell you do, excuse the language, and you don't put it in an LLC, it doesn't attribute to a balance sheet item at all. So first of all, create a balance sheet and get rich first. Psychologically, everything, get rich. Starting off, assess yourself. What do you bring to the table? Me, I know how to make tons of money, and I spend it. I give it all away. I got 54 God gifts. So don't ask me about saving money. Just ask me about making money. I always felt I made enough, and that's good, and that's cool. It works. Now, assess yourself. I can't fix things. I'm creative. What do you bring to the table? At Strather Academy, you got either find, fund, finance, fix, or flip. What you going to bring? Either find a deal that doesn't take money, funding, that takes cash, financing, that takes credit, fixing, that takes skill, and flipping. So finding and flipping, those two men don't really take any cash.
Yeah, no.
And that's where the money's at. You can structure your deal, joint ventures, and just go on and on and on, but it's a mindset. Secondly, to the young people like me, the little kids, I don't care how old you are. You can be a 40-year-old kid that's beat yourself up your whole life, think somebody then leverage you and it ain't fair, and America ain't fair, and all of this. Hell, you know something? You think it's been tough? You got 4 more years to go, and you better understand what time it is. You double down on your own fortunes, your own family, your own future, your own finances. You have got to double down to save yourself and your community right now. Focus on yourself and create wealth. You can do it immediately. You can become rich in 6 months. Just do exactly what I said. Nobody gets hurt. But so what does it really mean? What is it that so you got to get psychologically ready and have a burning desire. No matter what I tell you, the one secret is this: to have a burning desire. Now, how do you create that burning desire? Sometimes you get your butt kicked. You're in a bad situation. You went to jail. You have no money. You got a foreclosure. You did this. You don't look great and you don't feel great, and you think the world is against you. You think you've been leveraged, and then maybe so. But there's one thing I got to tell you, buddy. There is God. And I don't care if you're Muslim or Christian or Confucius or whatever. There's the big fella upstairs. And you are a ray of his. So when all the smoke clears, Brian, and then I'm going to turn it over here, I've been successful. I've closed $2.2 billion in transactions. The casino itself, of course, was $1 billion. I took $8,000, got the signatures, syndicated it, made it happen. I raised $1.6 million, from investors. And then when it got tight, the governor said that he was not going to give us the casinos. We had to take it to the state level. They all got scared. So I cashed out my insurance policies and I financed everything I had. And I got $1.7 million and I put it up and I said, I'll take it from here. And I did not charge them interest and I did not take interest for the $1.7 million. I didn't take it. I let my investors have it. An investor put up 25 grand and there were several of them. The first investors, they got back $550,000 from their 25.
Oh my gosh.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good. That's way good.
Now, Brian, to those of you who are listening, I can show you how to do a transaction and pull the cash out, do it tax-free, and pull out $25,000 for yourself. Now, let me say to you, every deal I do, I pull cash out. Now, a lot of the people, every deal they do, they put money down. But let's say you got a couple $100 grand and you put 150, 175 grand down, you got found a building. There's one problem. You ain't got your money no more.
No,
and you can't buy anything else. You should have never done it. Don't ever get rid of your money like that. Oh, short term, yes. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to pay cash. I'm going to refinance and pay cash. Pull my money out. Short-term basis, but to say you'll put some money down, take out you a 30-year land contract on a nice apartment building, no. Now, you can do it if you want to. You don't need me if you got money. Go do it. But those of you who have a burning desire, who's willing to put sweat equity in, who's willing to invest in yourself and figure out how to do it, I've done more deals than I think anybody in the world. I think I financed more deals without money than anybody. I don't know any, and I know all the players, Bob Johnson, a whole bunch of them. We know each other very well, and they're players. Now, they put money down too, but look, I'm saying without money is the key. To do it without money. So just to recap, if you have a difficult, challenging experience in life, it is required you praise God for your blessings and look at the sunny side of everything. I'm an optimist. I built 154 optimist clubs in the world just to pay back for them saving a little kid like me. I have a debt I could absolutely never pay back. I've given away 3,900 scholarships. And one other thing, too, I got to tell you. I win more stuffed animals than anybody in the world. Now, I'm not trying to be funny. Now, you can't see this, but if you look at my couch, it's nothing but a bunch of stuffed animals. That's me. And I got hundreds of them. I've been kicked out of all of the major amusement parks. No trespassing. I mean, you name it, from Florida to Ohio, up in Kingsville, all the ones, everything east of the Mississippi. I think I've been kicked out of every one of them.
What are you doing?
I mean, I'm the best. I'm the best in the world because I'm a kid. I told you I'm a kid.
I know what you're doing, the ping pong balls.
I can show you how to do it. You get the ball, they have a few things, like you can go to Dave & Buster's, for example. You got the baseball and you try to put it in the can, for example. That's a skill. Mm-hmm. I can put 15 in a row in.
Wow. Okay.
When I go play at the amusement parks now, they don't believe it. They say, "Mister, I mean, how many points I get? I have 18,000 points. Everybody else has 1,200, 15. They don't understand how I do it. So they say, well, you're one of these pros. Yeah. But I give all the animals away.
Of course. Yeah. What are you doing with all the animals?
So Brian, if I was going to leave a message, I would say to everyone, the ingredients that is most important is love a lot. Find something you will die for. Me, I will die for little kids like me, especially looking like me, and little boys. Now, it's kind of funny because I only have girls. Somebody said, God doesn't give players boys. I only have girls, you know what I'm saying? But You know, the little boys, man. When I see a little kid out there, chocolate, I look at that little kid and I see me. And either I'll start crying, because I cry a lot by myself. You understand? But I have to help this little kid. And I want to tell you something, you all. Do you have something to your audience? Do you have something that you would cry about? Do you have something that you would die for? That's the first question. And if the answer is no, then Martin Luther King said you ain't fit to live. And I know you'll die for your kids. I hope so.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But I'll ask you one other question. Will you die for something else? Now, my people keep saying, will you live for something? Yes, I will live for something else. But also, if I have to give it up, I would do that too. And you can't go around saying that, because you know why? Because God just might take you up on it.
Ooh. Ooh.
And so I'm firmly committed to what I believe in, and I will firmly die for it. And I have a very good life. I have a good life of helping others get rich. But can you think of one thing better than that? I show my people how to get rich. Those of you who want it, got a burning desire, and is willing to help others, I invite you to participate.
I love it. Love it. So I got a couple questions for you. Because this is amazing. Because I'm thinking about mindset. But I want to first start out, because we talk a lot about identity on the show. Like, how do you shape your identity? So you tell a story where you're not able to talk, you become president. But what are the factors that help shape your identity at 19 and 24 to be able to do the things that you've been able to do? Because every 19-year-old who comes out of school doesn't have an identity that become that person that can go around and not only talk to people, but sell 19 houses their first year, or list them. And you didn't sell them, you listed those 19 houses. And so what is it that happened in your life that allowed you to have this mindset that I can do anything?
Right. Challenges. Okay. And your desire to overcome the challenge. Suppose that I never got set outdoors. Maybe I wouldn't have such a burning desire. But man, getting set outdoors, I said, no, man, I started selling Watkin products. I'm the #1 Watkin, full of products. I wax more cars than anybody in the world. I'm the #1 car waxer, and I'll bet I'll take 2 people on one side and me on one side, and I'll completely beat them both right now, and I'll put up $100. It is a burning desire. Listen, the identity that God gave us, our identity. You identify yourself with the big fellow. He's your father. You are raised directly from him. So that's how I can do anything. I don't care what anybody do to me. I'm going to kick the butt. I'm going to win always. So not me. The big fellow. I'll go into the ring. I'm not afraid of anybody, no matter what it is. Right now, Brian, I'm taking on my biggest challenge. And you'll be reading about it.
So what is it? Or do I have to wait to read about it?
Well, the city of Detroit is challenged right now. We have a challenging educational situation, especially after COVID. Yeah. And we also have our Renaissance Center. And what they're saying is that they're going to take 2 of the buildings down because of overcapacity. Now, are you familiar with the Renaissance Center?
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, listen, the hotel that in the center is the tallest hotel in the Western Hemisphere. Certainly the tallest hotel in the United States and in the Western Hemisphere. I think Shanghai, and they got a few bigger ones. And then we got 4 towers. It's 700,000 square feet each. Mm-hmm. But because of COVID, it's like this all over America. Office buildings have emptied out.
Yeah.
So there's not enough people in there to support the retailers. And the retailers are not going to stay. They don't have the support, and the people ain't going to stay because they don't have retailers. So it feeds on each other and washes it out. So now they've announced that they're going to tear the buildings down if they can't do it, and they're going to ask the public for money. So I said, okay, Herb, what are you going to do about it? Now, let me tell you something, Brian. I can't actually tell you what I'm fixed to do, but let me tell you, you will read about it because we plan to buy it.
Okay.
You plan to buy it. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. This one other thing I want to tell everybody. If you have an issue you want to figure out, listen to me very carefully. Do not figure it out driving your car. Because you have 60,000 thoughts a day. Tick, 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 60,000.
Okay.
And if it's not physically in writing, it's just a thought. That's it. You either put the goal in writing or not. But once you sit down and then you're aligned with the big fella, instantly an idea will come. You say, oh my God, I didn't think about that. You will never think about it if you're driving in a car. You will never think about it. I'm going to figure out what I'm doing. Let me think. Well, you sit down and align yourself with infinite intelligence. And you know what infinite intelligence is, buddy. Align yourself with the power that be. And the ideas flow. If it's about love, if it's about money, that's a whole different story. Don't go to the big fellow about money. Money comes with the territory.
There we go. There we go.
So my message to you all is to love a lot and have something that you will die for and to become an expert at something. I am an expert. I am the expert in putting deals together without cash. And every one of you listening, I want to help you too. As a matter of fact, I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you a chance to get started. Now it's up to you.
Gotcha. Have another question.
Yeah, Brian.
So when I think about living in purpose, and it's evident, not only have you lived knowing your purpose, what God put you on this earth to do, you've been doing it a long time. And so when I think about purpose, I don't think you can have a purpose that God wants you to have unless you're serving others. And so many people say, well, I'm living in my purpose. So who are you serving? Because if you're not serving somebody, you can't be living in God's purpose. That's how I believe. In your thought process, how have you been able to sustain living in your purpose for so long and know that God is continuing to bless you and keep you going? Is he giving you new thoughts? Is he helping you move forward? How has that relationship been once you found your purpose?
Okay, Brian, that's an easy answer for me because I'm an optimist. We have an optimist creed. We look at the sunny side of everything and make our optimism come true. I don't know. I'd like for you all to pull up the optimist creed. Just go online. And I say the creed every day. And I live it. So if I got negative, I would probably get sick or something. I can't. Everybody says, so you, Herb, you just think one way, you just missed. Of course. And not only I'm not trying to fool myself by being an optimist, like this is reality and this is optimism. No. What is reality? Oh, no, that's a plus and a minus. Where reality? Let's talk about reality. How do you look at it? How do you look at reality? You understand? I look at the positive parts of the very best thing. Something negative could happen to me and I'll be so happy. People say, Herb, now you know that you're just trying to make that up. No, I'm driving down the street, Brian, for an example. This guy got, you know how you tweak it, and he got me and I twirled, hit a post, knocked out all my teeth.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, look, man, and then I can't walk. I got I'm getting a new hip. So who would possibly take and, think that that's something great? I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I'm praising God because I can think of reasons for it. The first reason, I'm in the house. I got a little time to myself to think. Now you may say, really, Curb, come on. Yeah, I got some time to think about. I said, this is perfect because I needed this time. I got in there, I was thinking, and then all of a sudden, I started thinking of everything else. I got a gigantic insurance policy that paid me $20,000 a month. I never used. I never even thought about that. I said, hey, look at it. And then I thought about something else. And then when I finished thinking about it, I said, I'm happy I had this loss. I'm not trying to be everything that happens to me, I'm happy about, no matter what it is. You may look when, I mean, now I can celebrate a good life by my mother, my church mother. My mom died a long time ago, but I've had another mother, and boy, I loved her so much too. But I can think about her good life and the things that she said about me. And that, I mean, it's good. Think about the good things and get the creed. Promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. To make all your friends feel that there's something in them. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. You understand? In other words, these are some of our tenets that we live by. And we accept it. So I have a very, very good life. And let me tell you this other thing too. When you're an optimist and you love everybody and you have a lot, I got 54 God kids, I spoil them to death. Whatever they want, they can have it if I can afford it. Now, I bought a bunch of cars, buddy. You understand? A bunch of them that tore up. And, like my God baby Christian, they went out to Vegas. Detroit Youth Group, the Detroit Youth Choir that won American Talent, they in Vegas singing this week. Can you imagine they out there singing? And all the thing I'm doing is what happened. I'm just so excited about it. When they won America Got Talent, they didn't know they were going to win, and they didn't bring enough money to stay out there. They ran out of money. They thought they were coming home. And they said, no, we won, we going to stay, but no more hotel money. Now, you know what I did. I just about emptied my bank account to make sure they had it. And I beat up some people at my church. I didn't have to beat them up because Hartford Church got some great people. Yeah. But what I'm trying to say to you is just love a lot. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you this, I have no ills. I have no pains. You will live a very long life and you live a high quality life. Mm-hmm. Don't complain. Listen, people have screwed me. I said, okay, go ahead. Take it. It's yours. One guy, he maneuvered me out of 46 grand, man. It was really something. You won't believe it. I'm going to put him in jail or cut his head off. Not really. But I said, I prayed for him.
Mm-hmm. There you go. I like that. Cutting his head off.
I prayed for him because you know something? For me to drag him through the court and put him in jail, I got other things to do. Yeah, you understand? Mm-hmm. And I could use that time to make me a couple $1 million doing something else.
I love it. So when I talk about trust, being able to trust with, you've done a lot of transactions where you have to trust the people you're doing transactions with. What is your formula for having to know if this is a person you should trust or do business with, or is this a person you should run from? Because you had to have figured it. I know you made some mistakes, but at this point, you probably have figured it out at least 90% of the time.
Right. Well, I got a couple thousand students. Okay. And about 50 of them are pretty active because you're a student for life. They may want to come back and buy an apartment building, And then I got a partner their name is the Grenadiers, by the way. And I've closed about 200 deals with them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were the ones that I closed my very first deal back when I was 20-something years old, the 190 units. All $25 million of business, the casinos, everything they're in. And you know something, man, it's 100% handshake. We haven't put anything in right. And when I say handshake, I'm not talking about $10,000 and $20,000. I'm talking about millions and millions of dollars. And we still don't sign. It's all done. Now, when we deal with other people, we sign. Now, we do some things in case I keep telling them, listen, fella, let's tighten it up in case I died. I don't want us to be too loose. So we try, put some things in. But no, most of our stuff is all handshake. Look, don't do any business with anybody you can't shake their hand. I won't do it. I don't want to do business with you. Listen, let me tell you something, man. I don't have to do business. One guy, I came up to him and I made a deal. because here's how I do a building. I say, sir, what do you want for your building? He said, I want 200,000. I said, do you care how I do this deal? Look, I get you your 200. He said, I don't care how you do it. I said, okay. So he said he'd take two. So I went and I wrote it for 350. And then I borrowed about 275,000. And so he saw how much I was borrowing and what I was paying him. And so we had to do an addendum at the end. Now the addendum, I think I missed a day. So I went to him on the addendum. You know what he says to me? Oh, no, Strada. No, man. I ain't going down like that. Now I see what you're doing. No. I said, you made a deal with me, my man. No, I can't do that, man. No. I said, but it's my credit that got this. You think somebody else can borrow the money like that? I said, okay, you keep your property, buddy. I didn't probably say it like that, but keep it. So about 2 weeks later, he called me wanting to know, are we still doing business? Like, what's happening, man? You know, I ain't heard from you. And that's what I told him what I thought, that he could keep his property. I wasn't willing to buy it for any money, although I could have given him 10 or 15 grand more, but he made a deal and he reneged. And I said, I don't need your property or you. So I will tell all of you, do business with people, just be cool. God will give it to you. You'll know the Spirit of the Lord is there. Yeah. And you know, you're gonna do business with somebody that's gonna look at you cross-eyed. Oh, hell no. I want to see how you look. Can I shake your hand, look you in the eye? So yes. And you may say, well, he's going to pay more. No, just don't associate. Don't. If you don't trust somebody, don't do business. Like me, I'm the coach. You just my students. And most of my students love me. Now, I could count out of 2,200 students, I cannot count 5 incidents. Maybe 2. That somebody was misunderstanding something. 2 out of 2,200 students. So, yes. Integrity is, and just you represent your Father in heaven. Yeah. Represent him properly.
And you got to do what you say you're going to do. That's, because basically what I think, what I've heard is the contract is just a mutual agreement of distrust. That's why you got to do the contract, because both people don't trust each other. When you think of a covenant, right, you sign that in blood, and it's, it sounds like you almost have a covenant with the folks you've been doing since your first transaction. So there is no going back. There is no choice.
I want to tell you this here too. I know I mentioned the last deal I did was 100 with First Independent Bank, but actually I did one more since then, and it was $125,000. But I want to tell you something very interesting about it. If I'm going to give somebody $125,000, I want them to give me some temporary collateral, or I want to meet them at the bank so I can get my money back. It's a lot of money. You understand? And so I like to know them. So one of my students who was in my class earlier, the alumni said, come on back. So they came back, and I'm telling them to get psychologically ready. This is how we're going to do it. I want to give everybody first, build your balance sheet. And here's how you do it. And then we're going to do this. So in order to build his balance sheet, I gave him 100. But dig this, Brian. I didn't get any collateral because I trusted him. I wired him 125 grand without collateral, with a verbal agreement. And he could have kept it, but he wasn't. I trusted him. He sent it right back, the way he said it. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, that's on me if he kept the money, but usually I can read people really, 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 really well. One guy snookered me out of $46,000 that I trusted. He snookered me legally. You understand? I could have put him in jail or did something else to him, but I didn't. You understand? But here again, I trust this other gentleman. I gave him the money, and he gave it back because he's a good people. So do business with good people, and don't go after money. See, if you go after money, you're going to run into those characters that's like this. Look how much you can make of this here, man. Look how much money you can make. Mm-hmm, give me 10 grand, I'll give you 20 back. You get a person 10, you ain't going to ever see it again. Be careful about that kind of stuff and do business with people that you trust and just ask the Lord. And one other thing, if you got a big decision to make, always sleep on it. Even if you typed it all up and you're going to send it out, sleep on it. And then the next morning, send it out. If it's big money, sleep on it. If it's big money, get on your knees on it. You understand? And pray about it. The thing that I do not want to do, Brian, is this. I do not want to go up to heaven with the number one thing on my resume is creating the casinos. Now, I was the chairman of Motor City Casino, but can you imagine coming to the pearly gates and Peter says, "Now, what did you do?" "I did a casino." He said, "You did?" Can you imagine going up to Peter with something like that on your resume? Hell, I better create something else. You understand? Because I don't want him to say, "Take your money back and just go to hell." Oh! You know what I mean? Please. No, you just go to hell. No. I know I'm going to heaven, but I figure I have got to do something else too. And God has given me the health, the strength, and the time. Now, Herb, do it. And here's what I want to do. I want to empower my people, especially those that look. Do you look like me? You do. Call me. Now, Brian, I'm not putting you out. You one of the light-skinned guys. That's okay. I like you. I mean, we're all the same boat, But this is where my burning desire. And let me tell you what I'm really proud of. I'm proud of the women, Brian. The women in my class have taken over, and they're just as bad as the guys now.
Okay.
And you know what I tell them? I say, guys, I think I like dealing with the ladies better because they fine. And they got money. They fine with money. I think I like them better, fellas. But we have a lot of fun, man.
Okay. Well, we got about 8 minutes left. Is there things you want to talk about yet?
Huh?
I said we got about 8 minutes left. Are there things we haven't talked about? Share?
First of all, here's my book. Which way is Detroit?
All right. Okay.
I don't know if the language is backwards on that or not.
No, it's perfect.
But this year, if you go to the if you get to New York, at Which Way is Detroit, you can get it on Amazon, Walmart, online. Just call and get it. It's very, very cheap. And then if you call it out and you get it and you let me know you got my book, that you're willing to invest in yourself, I have an invitation for you. I want you to join me. I would love for get everybody to together to join. And I'm going to want you to take, and I want to hook you up to the newsletter that we have. We have what you call StratherNewsletter.com. I believe that's it. StratherNewsletter.com. That's it. So everybody can go right in and register. StratherNewsletter.com. And I have a phone that's a Google Voice, and you could call. It's 313-444-9691, and you could just call and leave a message. I got your book, and we will reach back to you because we want to put you in the class. I want you to come to my class one time and experience this.
Okay.
One time. And listen, if you got your kids, get everybody around the computer, because I'm not teaching theory. Brian, I helped create the Summer Leadership Institute at Harvard in 1992, and I taught to 2012. And when I go up there, buddy, there's standing room only. Now look, my pastor, Dr. Charles Adams, was a professor there, so it made it a little bit easier. You understand? But we did create it, and I taught I've taught faith and finance in the Divinity School, and also taught at the Summer Leadership Institute. So we had what you call case studies. So what I'm telling you is not theories, like I saw somebody do this. No. I'm not teaching theories today. what you're going to find out, I'm going to say, okay, everybody, today we're going to do a deal, and it's going to be a bargain gift sale under Section 170 of the Internal Revenue Code. Here's how we do it. I just closed this deal. It's at 15041 Greenfield. And look what I did. Look on record. This is a bargain gift sale. Look, let me tell you this. Just take one street alone, Brian. I closed 77, and you can take these addresses and check them out. 7711 Greenfield, 15014 Greenfield, 15020, 15050, 17331, and 17333. Greenfield, all bargain gift sales. Now, what is a bargain gift sale? Glad you asked. Take one of them I did. The 1500420 and the 1700 was 80 units, 40 and 40. There was blocks apart, but it was one deal. So we got an appraisal for $2.2 million. We borrowed $1 million, and we made a deal with the seller for $1 million cash, and he paid me a $50,000 fee out of that. So he got $950. We borrowed $1.5 million. We put $200 in improvements. We had prepaid escrows and all that. We put $180,000 in our pocket in cash and bought the building. And here's the thing you got to realize. The 180 that we put in our pockets is non-taxable because you don't pay taxes on borrowed money.
That's right.
So here's the thing for you acquisitioners to know. And this is the sweetest thing of all. You never pay taxes. I turned around, but let me tell you, it burns off in 60 months. So, for example, the Michigan State, I had a $5 million carry forward. $5 million. That means I ain't paying no taxes. Because think about it. If you made $100,000 that wasn't taxes, and you're in business, you're going to spend some money in your business. Say if you spend half of it, that's a write-off. Mm-hmm. And the other 50 you spend on your girlfriends is non-taxable. You don't have to pay any taxes on it. So every deal you do, if you do it and borrow the money, you will never pay taxes because you never have taxable income. Mm-hmm. Now, so if you got cash and you say, Herb, I got cash. I don't have the time to be in school all day. I like to do a joint venture. Bring it on. I just did a young lady had $25,000. I put her in a deal just like that. And the deal that we put her in, I put her in it 2 weeks ago, and we're financing out of it next month. Now, why do I do that stuff? In order for you to buy income property. And listen, I'm not a flipper. I'm not big on flipping. If you want to flip, go flip. Go put all of that money in. Why don't you just get a job with a contractor? He'll pay you to do the work. It doesn't make sense. To me, I want to buy it whole. If you want to buy it, fix a property, put a mortgage on it and keep it. You can borrow most of the money out. I mean, in other words, if you can afford to do something, I show people how to leverage deals, income property deals, and take the cash out. Now, you could do it. It could be a 2 or 3 or 4. Those are residential. Or it could be a 1 to 4 unit as residential, but don't try a 1 unit as income property. Hell, the taxes would be 30%. Whereas on a 2 flat, the taxes would be normal. They should be between 10, no higher than 15%. 8 to 12%, it should be the tax range, percentage-wise, of your gross income. So essentially, there are a lot of different ways to buy the real estate without putting up cash. Bargain gift sales is one of the ways to do it. You could just do a standard purchase agreement. Just agree on what the seller gets. No, Brian. Now here, you are a lender. Mm-hmm. Now you know FHA is not going to go with you getting a whole bunch of money back. Mm-hmm. You know, right? Now, Brian, I'm going to tell you how you could do it and how FHA will go along with it. You want to hear it?
Yep. Tell me.
Okay. I will give it to you by example because it's reality. Like I told you, I'm not a theorist. Gotcha. So I had to deal on San Juan Street in Detroit. And just in case FHA want to look it up. So I sold the property for $134,000 many years ago. And it just so happened didn't go to a student. It went for someone in Illinois, but he had a family here. They looked at it. So he processed it, got it approved, and he was moving to Detroit, but he wanted to see the property. He never saw it. He went in and didn't like it. He says, I want $18,000 because I want to put a new driveway in. I want to put HVAC in, and I got to scrape and paint the garage. I said, no way, cancel it. Just forget it. I ain't paying you no $18,000. I thought about it. I didn't want to take it back through and go through this again. So we arrived at 14 grand. Okay. I said, 14. So they said, okay, we got to get the lender's approval. So they called up the lender, FHA, Fannie Mae format, same thing. And they said, well, that's the seller's money because he had already been approved. That's the seller's money. So the title company, first I told him, I said, maybe I'll do the work. He said, okay. So we're going to put the money up. I said, I'm not going to do work. You do the work. I said, but you have to put it in escrow, I guess, to get the work finished. But then the question was, the lender's not asking it to be in escrow. Who wants it in escrow? I said, come to think of it. I said, I don't care. You're going to have it. He said, thank you. They gave him the $14,000 at closing. He walked there with $14,000, and it's legitimate. Now, listen, I'm not trying to tell you how to get around this, but I just told you a fact. Now, you are intelligent. Your listeners are intelligent. Did you hear what I just said?
I did.
And the $14,000 he got was non-taxable. Now, it just so happened I went by there and I saw he had a new driveway. So he did.
I don't know what else. Yeah, gotcha.
He put a driveway. He probably spent the whole amount fixing his house up because I think he really did. But for us investors, Brian, Dr. B, for us, we said, you can really do that, eh? So how do you go about doing such a thing? Well, look, but let me tell you the consequences. If you tried to do that in Michigan, there's no guarantee it's going to happen. Because let me explain to you, or another state. In Michigan, the statute of fraud says if it's not in writing, it's non-enforceable. Mm-hmm. So if you were going to try to create something like this, you would get a letter of intent along with a seller's estimate showing what the seller may end up, but you would get the seller to say what his net is, and then you would add whatever improvements that you wanted to make to it or closing costs that you wanted the seller to pay. You add that to the agreed price, the agreed net that the seller said. So if the seller said he wanted 100, you wanted to fix up and stuff, you end up with 150.
Gotcha.
Okay? So, but let's say that you come up with 150 and you put that on, on the market, on Realcom, on multi-list, and all the neighbors up and down the street saw 150, they go run and they go sell their property. They sell theirs for 130. So the guy that I'm buying say, hey, I made a deal with you for 100 and everybody else is getting more. He said, I want more money. I don't want to sell now. That has happened a couple of times because we created a new market, and when the sellers found out about it, so in Detroit, you can do that because we have great buoyancy. You know what the price is? Whatever you say it is. Not really, but almost. Don't go too crazy with it.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you this too, you help the community when you do that. You're stabilizing the pricing. Stabilizing it. Now let me tell you, you don't have to worry about stabilizing prices in areas that white people are moving in. Or areas that the millennials are moving in. The white millennials, you do not. They pay $2 a foot, but the brothers is not gonna pay that much. But we're stabilizing our value. This is important because we stabilize our community, and we will eventually get there. But so diversification, when we have diversification is a good thing in the community, but it got to be handled properly. And you've got to get in and participate. You can get in and do it. Now you get my book, Which Way is Detroit? It shows you every zip code you should buy, and some of them you don't. Don't you dare come in this city not knowing what you're doing, trying to buy some real estate, or you'll get hurt.
Wow.
I've seen people lose millions of dollars. I said, ooh, that hurt. They didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah.
You've got to buy right in the right areas too. So
that's in every city. Every city
that's
has.
in every city. That's true, Brian. That's so you have boots on the ground. You don't go to LA. We ain't going to LA now anyway, but you don't go anywhere unless you got boots on the ground.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you said you're out in Colorado, eh?
I am in Denver. I am in Denver, Colorado. I grew up here, and then I lived in LA for about 25 years and came back here and hang out with mom and grandkids and just love it to death here. So
that's really good. You know, Brian, I told you I built 154 Optimist clubs in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I built one in almost every single city, almost every state. No, more than half of the states in the United States. And I built a few out there in Denver. There's a place called Erie, Erie, Colorado. That Optimist Club is still in existence.
It is.
I was so happy to know it, man. And then there's Monaco, that Optimist Club. And then I tell you what I did. I went down in Colorado Springs and I built an Optimist Club out in the open. We had breakfast out there in the mountains. It was beautiful. So, I mean, when I think about Colorado, man, I built those clubs out there. You tell me a state, and I'll tell you how many clubs I built.
Wow.
But I had to take and pay for all of this. And then when they build, I'll give them $1,000, I give them $500, I give them $5,000 as a scholarship to get the club going. So great. I have something on my resume, Dr. B, when I get up to heaven besides the casino.
There you go. Well, I have I'm not in this room, but I have a coaster because I spoke at an Optimist Club not too long ago, and they gave me a
creed.
Up on, yeah. So
which club did you speak at? Was it South Monaco?
Yes, it was. It was South Monaco.
Hey, look at that! Oh my God! Yeah. Look at the small world it is, man. You see this? Oh, that is really good. They know who I am, buddy. I guarantee you that. You understand? You know, and I built the Optimist Club of Chicago a long time in the early 80s. And you know what was very interesting? Barack Obama won the Oratoco contest. The club is no longer there. But isn't it something, man? It is. You can have a club that lasts a year, but whose life did you?
Oh, that's so cool.
It's really something, man. So I also want to extend an invitation to those who would be interested in becoming an optimist. When you buy the book and you call me up, I got your book, I want your free class, and I am an optimist. I want to be an optimist, and I'm going to send you a free creed. I will send you a free creed, an optimist creed. One little final thing, Brian, not to confuse your audience, but if they did go, when they go to my site and register, there is an opportunity that they could have, and we will send it out after we get just register for the Strather newsletter. There's an opportunity to get started. I did a course. I was the president of the Detroit Association of Realtors, and we're the oldest real estate association in the United States. We created the National Association of Realtors. As a matter of fact, the first two presidents of the National Association of Realtors were from Detroit. The first two was from Detroit. So we created it. And so we, oh man, I was had a, I guess I got a senior moment here. Right, I think I will think about it for a minute, but I think I just had a senior moment in front of everybody. I was trying to make a point about
it's about the Optimist or the National Real Estate Association.
Right. I have the DAR Optimist Club. I build Optimist clubs in the association and everything. But the main thing that I want to tell everybody, I remember what I said. So I created this course. And it's a 6 credit hour course for people that are licensed. You can take the course for your licensing. But Brad, here's the course. Can you imagine creating an educational course about how to get rich? How to fully leverage an apartment building is what it's about. Can you imagine a course on how to fully buy an apartment building without cash? That's what the course is now. It's really cheap. I made it $4.99 because everybody got it. But then I took the first chapter and said, it's getting ready. That's assessing yourself, setting your goals, the BYOB I told you about, how you trick your credit, and how you're going to set up your entity to transport your wealth. Now, I know a lot of people may tell you to do different things, but let me tell you, and I want you to look this up, and I want you to look it up. And when you talk to your lawyer about it, they won't even know what it is. But I teach my students this because I got it. Now, listen to this word. Intentionally defective grantor's trust. That's the name of an irrevocable trust. Just look it up, type it up. Intentionally defective grantor's trust. And when you all join, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do with that trust. And it's going to blow your mind. So I'm going to save a little bit, Brian, for everybody to come on. And Brian, if your people come on and they say, look, man, just bring them back on and bring us on and make it interactive, I'll do that too. We'll make it all at once and right in front of everybody. I'll do deals. Just bring your deals.
I love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much, Herb, for being part of our podcast today. Thank you I told you folks, if you were going to be on this podcast, you need to get your pencil out, you need to start writing, and you're not going to do it at double speed. And so we have just had a lesson in this is what I'm going to help you do. And so I encourage you to go out there and get the book, the Road to Detroit, right? What's the name of your book one more time?
Which way
Detroit.
Which way Detroit?
Which way Detroit. Go out and get the book, then call him up on the number he gave. On that number that he gave, say, I got the book. Then you're going to be part of the revolution of being able to understand money, because that's one thing we don't do a great job of. We don't learn it in school. We don't learn it, in the community. And then we get stuck and we wonder why our lives are why they are. Well, you just got an education on your life don't have to be the way that it is right now. And so take advantage of the opportunity. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. We're continuing to have, Herb, I'm going to have you back on. So we're going to get some students in the class. We're going to have you back on. Maybe even teaching us something that's even greater after you have a deal that you can teach us. So again, thank you.
And let me leave the phone number one more time: 313-444-9691. I look forward to hearing from you.
I love it. Thank you so much for being on, and we'll look forward to seeing you next one. Don't forget, my friends, you are God's greatest gift, and He loves you if you allow Him to. So you guys have a wonderful day, and we'll talk with you guys soon.